Be seated, please.
Distinguished guests, members of faculty, ladies and gentlemen, and most importantly, those of you who are graduating today. I'm delighted to welcome you here this morning to share in this graduation ceremony and offer my warmest congratulations to those of you graduating. In particular, I would like to welcome Mr. Michael Ferguson, MP, Member for Bass, the Honourable Kerry Finch, MLC, Member for Rosevears, the Mayor of Launceston, Alderman Albert Van Zetten, and Mrs. Lyndall Van Zetten, Dr. Michael Vertigan, AC, Chair, Australian Maritime College Board, and a former Chancellor of the University. Firstly, I wish to congratulate our newest graduates and diplomats on your achievement. To be awarded a degree or diploma requires dedicated endeavour, and I commend you for your commitment. Graduation is an important rite of passage for all graduates and a fitting outcome to the commitment you have made in undertaking higher education. This is an achievement of which you should be rightly very proud. I acknowledge the contribution of the staff of the university who have been partners in your journey to success, as well as the support your families, colleagues and friends who have travelled with you. You have been encouraged to develop the knowledge and professional skills to help you make a major contribution to your chosen field and to society. You have had the privilege of studying at a distinctive university that commands great respect nationally and internationally, a place where inquiry, ideas and innovation flourish. The University of Tasmania has been providing higher education for 123 years. We are proud of our commitment to the pursuit of excellence and of our efforts to build a cosmopolitan institution which welcomes students from countries around the world. We are a research institution. The 2013 academic ranking of world universities places UTAS among the top 10 Australian universities for the second year running and in the top 2% worldwide. These results are not only recognition of UTAS's success, but an indication of the high value of your degree. We perform well on many other measures. In 2013, the University of Tasmania attracted approximately $100 million in research income. This exceptional performance by our research staff cements UTAS's position as a high performer in the research community nationally and internationally. We are highly regarded for our teaching and learning and are recognised for this. For the second consecutive year, staff of the University of Tasmania attained the maximum number of prestigious National Office of Learning and Teaching awards. Every class we teach and every research project we undertake is approached in the spirit of a partnership which has the potential to build something greater than the sum of its parts. As the only university based in Tasmania, UTAS has a unique and distinctive position, locally, nationally and internationally. We are defined by the closeness of our relationship with Tasmania. We are mindful of community expectations and opportunities in all that we do to ensure that we continue to build the trust, respect and confidence of our communities, who are the stakeholders of our institution. The notion of partnership characterises the way we operate, recognising that from relationships flow opportunity, we must configure ourselves to facilitate meaningful partnerships with government, industry and communities in Tasmania and across the world. Our primary partnership is between staff and students, who work together in the areas of core business for UTAS, achieving excellence in teaching and learning and research. We work closely with the Australian, Tasmanian and local governments to strengthen Tasmania's economic viability and develop new enterprise sectors which will deliver highly skilled jobs that will transition the state to a prosperous future. The UTAS motto, Ingenius Patuit Campus, you can tell I'm no good at Latin, "All the field is open to talent," captures our spirit. It reflects our vitality and confidence in our identity and openness to communities and the world. In December, over 3,550 students will graduate at 12 graduation ceremonies where 1,815 students will receive undergraduate degrees and 1,750 postgraduate degrees, including 60 PhDs. You, our graduates, have the talents, skills and expertise that the world needs to ensure a safe, secure and sustainable future. More than any generation before you, you are citizens of the world. Globalisation redefines the world of work and opens up opportunities for innovations and cross-cultural connection. Enjoy the celebration with your families and friends, the people who have supported you. I wish you good luck in the path ahead. The world is there for you to transform. Your degree is a step in the great adventure of your life. UTAS has given you the knowledge and tools. They are yours to use with our blessing. It is to you that we look to lead, to reimagine and to reshape our future. You have the talent. The field is now yours. Thank you and good luck. I now call upon the Chair of Academic Senate, Professor Nicol, to present candidates for degrees and diplomas from the Australian Maritime College, the Faculty of Science, Engineering and Technology, and the Research College.
I call upon candidates from the Australian Maritime College, the Faculty of Science, Engineering and Technology, and the Research College to stand. If we're all standing, Deputy Chancellor, I commend to you the candidates whose names are listed in the programme before you for admission to the degrees and for the award of the diplomas shown. They have completed all requirements for their awards to the satisfaction of Academic Senate.
By virtue of the authority vested in my office, I admit you and the candidates in absentia, as listed in the program before me, to the degrees and awards, the diplomas, for which you and they have qualified in the Australian Maritime College, the Faculty of Science, Engineering and Technology, and the Research College.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join with me in congratulating the new graduates. Deputy Chancellor, the Deans or their representatives will now present the graduates and diplomats to you. I do apologise, yes. Graduates and diplomats, please be seated. I will now ask the Deputy Chancellor that the Deans and their representatives will present the graduates and diplomats to you.
I call upon Professor Bowes, the Principal of the Australian Maritime College, to present graduates from the college.
Deputy Chancellor, I present to you the graduates and diplomats from the National Centre for Marine Conservation and Resource Sustainability. Deputy Chancellor, I present to you the diplomat to whom you have awarded the Associate Degree in Aquaculture, Vincent Feng. Deputy Chancellor, I present to you those graduates whom you have admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Applied Science, Marine Environment, Daniel Costello. Megan Dykeman. Heather Clancy Johnston. Deputy Chancellor, I present to you the graduate whom you have admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Applied Science, Marine Environment with honours, King G. Tam. Deputy Chancellor, I present to you those graduates whom you have admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Applied Science, Marine Environment with first-class honours, Philip Craig Sweetman. Catherine Louise Shields. Deputy Chancellor, I present to you the graduates and diplomats from the National Centre for Maritime Engineering and Hydrodynamics. Deputy Chancellor, I present to you those graduates whom you have admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Engineering, Marine and Offshore Engineering, Andrew Halnan. Thomas James Larby. Sherwin Julio Saldana. Lei Zong. Deputy Chancellor, I present to you those graduates whom you have admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Engineering, Marine and Offshore Engineering with honours. Stephen Lee Henwood. William Christopher Jones. Hugh Chuen Cheryl Lim. Jacob Jensen Menzies. John J. Moon. Ziyad Nordin. Joel David Wilson. Deputy Chancellor, I present to you those graduates whom you have admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Engineering, Naval Architecture. Ton Siromi Asmawari Masawir Abdul Rahman. Ishma Barek Tarovich. Harold Allen Floyd. Riley Graham. Stephen Darcy Grogan. James Robert Mackenzie. Thomas Ross Pipen. Lee Jacob Smith. Michael Staraka. Mitchell Brian Todd. Sun Yong Timothy Martin Vaughan. Deputy Chancellor, I present to you those graduates whom you have admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Engineering, Naval Architecture with honours. Kieran John Castelli. Lachlan James Clark. Samuel William Davey. James Oliver Fisher. Ramiro Infanzon Agapito. Rohan Gary Langford. Shane Robert Lindsay. John Yu Ni. Radeni Pathiranachilagni Supan Adoradita Tilakaratni. Chen Yi Tang. Michael James Cargill White. Deputy Chancellor, I present to you the graduate whom you have admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Engineering, Naval Architecture with first-class honours, William Pick. Deputy Chancellor, I present to you those graduates whom you have admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Engineering, Ocean Engineering, Jyoti Prashad Bandari. Russell Boxall. Anmoli Preet Singh Cheema. Jared Thomas Field. John Arthur Francis. Andrew Felix Heubner. Lim Yi Fong. Grant Christopher Madden. Ryan Edward O'Connor. Jake William Shayer. Dev Raj Timsina. Deputy Chancellor, I present to you those graduates whom you have admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Engineering, Ocean Engineering with honours. Hamish Andrew Armstrong. Alexander Clifford. Rui Chu. Deputy Chancellor, I present to you those graduates whom you have admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Engineering, Ocean Engineering with first-class honours. Yuting Jing. Alexander Charles Ruskin. Deputy Chancellor, I present to you the graduates and diplomats from the National Centre for Ports and Shipping. Deputy Chancellor, I present to you the graduate whom you have admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Applied Science, Maritime Operations, Adrian Frederick Koolhoff. Deputy Chancellor, I present to you those graduates whom you have admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Applied Science, Maritime Technology Management, Reginald Eric Augustine Kane. Ashley Susan Harris. Muhammad Saifud Alam Jamal. Christopher Valerio Palmer. Benedict Sampson. Deputy Chancellor, I present to you those graduates whom you have admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Applied Science, Nautical Science, Mehdi Garib. Nicholas Murray Jones. Calum Matthew David Waters. Deputy Chancellor, I present to you those graduates whom you have admitted to the degree of Business, Maritime and Logistics Management, Mohammed Hanif bin Abd Alim. Alexandra Kate Bolzanello. Safin Sana Chowdhury. Anna Lisa Victoria Daldy. Ashley Susan Harris. Adrian Ho Chen Yi. Nathan Jun Kiat Ho. Yu Chian Lam. Simon Henry Legg. Fatin Siazwani Mod Fuad. Shafinas bin Muhammad Jwanda. Smart Odinafo Nwako. Tilaga Sinia. Chia Lin Tan. Wen Li Tan. To Hoc Seng Du Fu Cheng. Emma Louise Van Steel. Wee Chun Wei Benjamin. Deputy Chancellor, I present to you the diplomat to whom you have awarded the Graduate Diploma of Maritime and Logistics Management, Parasmeswamy Govindaswamy. Deputy Chancellor, I present to you the graduates whom you have admitted to the degree of Master of Business Administration, Maritime and Logistics Management, Li Bai. Madhaf Abdin bin Abdul Matalif. Zhou Feng Chen. Feng Huo. Daniel Alexander Yong. Deputy Chancellor, that concludes the presentation of graduates and diplomats from the Australian Maritime College.
I call upon Associate Professor Hannon, representing the Dean of the Faculty of Science, Engineering and Technology, to present graduates and diplomats in that faculty.
Deputy Chancellor, I present to you the diplomate to whom you have awarded the Diploma of University Studies, Alex Zachariah June. Deputy Chancellor, I present to you those graduates to whom you are admitted to the degree Bachelor of Computing. Yuan Hang Lu. Liam John McGrath. Callum Parker. Deputy Chancellor, I present to you those graduates whom you have admitted to the degree Bachelor of Computing with Honours. Amanda Jane Lunt. Liguo Ren. Su Jiong Yu. Deputy Chancellor, I present to you those graduates whom you have admitted to the degree Bachelor of Environmental Design. Reese Llewellyn Godchalk Allen. Jack Arnhem Andrews. Talitha Sarah Brown. Gao Hao Cheston Chai. Hui Chet Chai. Julia Chim Siu Li. Chi Ka Tat. Gloria Rebecca Chi Keen Ling. Set Yi Chin. Valerie Hui Yuan Chiu. Chung Chin Wei. Raymond Jua Yan Chung. Angus Laws Cosgrove. Christopher Elliott Craven. Georgia Doreen. Darren Bruce Dixon. Emma Kate Dolby. Yuan Dong. Joshua Lee Duncan. Mark Anthony Eaton. Harriet Elliott. Wei Ling Nicholas Eng. Libby Florence Espy. Jessica Finch. Fung Ka Xian. Henry James Gibson Friend. Tanya Michelle Furno. Ashley Go. Ashley Christina Graham. Philippa Jane Granger. Christine Joyce Louise Green. Amar Gurung. Annabelle Frances Harris. Muhammad Sofian Hashim. Abby Patricia Hay. Kyle Graham Holstrom. Sitinur Farah Felina Hussin. Muhammad Bakhtiar Idris. Sophie Jane Johnson. Dylan Josh Kelleher. Sean Kor Hui Ji. Zin Yi Ko. Jean Kok Shin Yu. Cho Yin Lai. Shak Chan Lam. Sien Ming Lee. Jin Sheng Wilson Leong. Dao Wei Lim. Lim Hu Shen Edmund. Xiao Liang Lim. Zhao Bing Joshua Lim. Lu Nishi. Leslie Lua Yan Shan. Pei Ying Lam. Elliot Luttrell. Danny L. Mason. Saga Mazidian Ezabadi. James Andrew McElwee. Gil Lachlan McKenzie. Kate Ellen Mara McMurtry. Fraser Lachlan Miller. Mohammed Nazwan Mohammed Tawfiq. Angus Rutger Moore. Paul Jason Morrow. Georgia Newman. Ung Kai Ji. Ng Wei Lun. Kurt William Nyland. Ong Yao Lun. Kenneth Ui Xiong Chen. Ui Su Hao. Ye Lek Jeremiah Pang. Matthew John Pearson. Xiao Ling Peng. Pravish Prakash. Muhammad Khairuddin Ramli. Lucas Saunders. Si Hung Ping Daniel. Anis Saida Shukran. Rebecca Ann Snare. Hinaro Hazel Taikato. Matthias Ze Leong Tan. Lewis James Simpson Taylor. Declan Baxter Vertigan. Simon Francis. Zi Wang. Bridget Joy Wilcox. Samuel Wilkinson. Rern Sean Wong. Yin Guang Samuel Wong. Wang Ji Zen Timothy. Kin En Yap. Wei Kang Yao. Lena Casimira Zakarek. Juan Ting Zeng. Deputy Chancellor, I present to you those graduates whom you have admitted to the degree Bachelor of Environmental Science with honours. Lai Hui Tung. Joe C. Lin. Alan James Christopher Southam. Deputy Chancellor, I present to you the graduate whom you've admitted to the degree Bachelor of Environmental Science with First Class Honours, Lachlan Sadler. Deputy Chancellor, I present to you the graduate whom you've admitted to the degree Bachelor of Information Systems with honours, A. Tin. Deputy Chancellor, I present to you those graduates whom you've admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Science, John Adelsikas. Nicholas John Levitt. Rowan Lance Scott. Deputy Chancellor, I present to you the diplomate to whom you have awarded the Graduate Diploma of Computing, Stephen Janes. Deputy Chancellor, I present to you those graduates whom you have admitted to the degree Master of Architecture, Karavin Su Yin Bong. Duncan Cameron Burns. Wang Lung Chan. Chin Ji Juan. Jackson Cheong Su Xiang. Joe Richard Evans. Ka Chung Fong. Jeremiah Fong Kian Chung. Fong Vui Chan. Go Wan Hao. Ho Sik Pong. Matthew William Hyland. Peter Matthew Kemper. Ko Eng Lan. Ming Lai. John David Lancaster. Handling Law. Prudence Kathleen Laws. Chin Sheng Li. Chua Hin Lim. Lim Tian Hui Melinda. Carmen Jia Wen Lo. Natalie Rose Martin. Lauren Louise Mills. Rajesh Kumar Mutusamy Krishnasamy. Yuan Lu Ni. William Newnham. Ng Dick Son. Nur Hafiza Norden. Su Chi Ong. Bradley Colin Preston. Yi Ru Pua. Stuart James Robinson. Christopher Sherman. Tasman Carlisle Smith. Ken Keong Su. Su Yin Ming James. Muhammad Akmal Sukemi. Tan Jin Shan. Tang Chan Yung. Jacqueline Tay Yi Jiong. Benjamin Shilan Tang. Dmitry Troyanovsky. Adam Peter William Van Est. Brian Wong Jian Luen. Hui Chuan Yao. Salma Husna Zamani. Yi Teng Zhu. Deputy Chancellor, I present to you those graduates whom you have admitted to the degree Master of Architecture with honours. Mia Moreira. Sune Villierne. Deputy Chancellor, I present to you those graduates whom you have admitted to the degree Master of Architecture with First Class Honours. Vaughan Robin Allen Bones. Catherine Marie O'Byrne. Joel Andrew Seedon. Deputy Chancellor, I present to you the graduate whom you have admitted to the degree of Master of Creative Media Technology, Troy Merritt. Deputy Chancellor, I present to you the graduate whom you've admitted to the degree Master of Environmental Planning, Rebecca Leanne Plapp. Deputy Chancellor, I present to you those graduates whom you've admitted to the degree Master of Information Technology, Hong Chen. Xiaolong Wu. Lei Yao. Deputy Chancellor, Jia Ying Yuan, I'm very sorry. Jia Ying Yuan. Deputy Chancellor, that concludes the presentation of graduates and diplomates in the Faculty of Science, Engineering and Technology.
I now call upon Professor Geraghty, the Deputy Dean of Graduate Research, to present those graduates who qualified for research higher degrees in the Research College.
Deputy Chancellor, research is one of the major activities of UTAS. We strive to demonstrate the highest levels of achievement at the local, national and international level. Our research higher degree students make a significant contribution to this area through adding their findings and conclusions to what we know, through the application of knowledge to the solution of real-life problems, and to the improvement of our communities and citizens' well-being. Deputy Chancellor, it gives me great pleasure to present the new graduates to you. Deputy Chancellor, I present to you the graduate whom you have admitted to the degree of Master of Philosophy, David Cameron Milner. Deputy Chancellor, you have admitted Jennifer Lorimer Shanks to the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Dr. Lorimer Shanks explored the value of ecological metaphors for sustainability projects in Hong Kong. Her analysis demonstrated the importance of adopting a critical approach to the conception and communication of ecological design principles and concepts in order to respond more effectively to urgent environmental issues. Deputy Chancellor, Dr. Jennifer Lorimer Shanks. Deputy Chancellor, I present to you Kristen Lee Perks. Dr. Perks confirmed that the manipulation of day length and feeding regimes increased growth of juvenile barramundi. Her study will enable the development of optimal artificial lighting regimes to improve farming techniques for barramundi. Deputy Chancellor, Dr. Kristen Lee Perks. Deputy Chancellor, I present to you Dean Robert Steer. Dr. Steer investigated the intended and actual impact of regional information and communication technology funding programs in Tasmania from 1996 to 2005 based on expert review. He developed models of regional technology grant funding as guidance to policymakers and grant administrators. Deputy Chancellor, Dr. Dean Robert Steer. Deputy Chancellor, that concludes the presentation of graduates in the Research College.
I now call upon the Vice-Chancellor, Professor Rathjen, to present Professor David Rich for admission to the degree of Doctor of Letters.
Deputy Chancellor, Professor David Rich joined the University of Tasmania in mid-2007 as Deputy Vice-Chancellor Academic and Provost. His was the inaugural appointment to this pivotal position within the university that carried with it operational responsibility for the academic and administration functions of the university. The appointment was designed to allow the Vice-Chancellor of the day to focus on external relationships, state, federal and international, to grow the university, build its identity and improve its international rankings. The Provost's role requires much. It needs a person who can manage the day-to-day operations of the university, but also one who can manage change effectively whilst maintaining a culture of collegiality and commitment to goals and purpose. This was required at a difficult time in history, when there has been unprecedented change right across the higher education sector in Australia and within UTAS itself. At a national level, there has been rapid and unpredictable policy change over the last 5 years. There have been major financial cuts associated with federal budgets. There are new technologies which challenge us in ways that we don't yet fully understand. And there has been a rise in internationalisation and global competition amongst universities. At a local level, recent challenges have included the integration of the Australian Maritime College into the university, a matter which required delicacy, reprofiling the university to achieve a high-performance culture and to achieve enhanced learning and research outputs, and growing higher education participation in Tasmania, particularly in the northwest of the state. Through this difficult time, David Rich has been an important voice within the institution, a strong voice for the north and northwest of Tasmania and our campuses in those parts of the state. A man who is acutely aware of the Tasmanian context in which we operate, but also of the need to balance local relevance with the global mission of the university as part of the world of ideas. He has a particular passion for the people who work at UTAS and the students who study at UTAS, supporting their aspirations and their careers. David has played an important role for UTAS in meeting all of these challenges and managing associated change. He has worked with all stakeholders in a manner that is honest, forthright and fair, and shows his genuine concern for improving the working lives of those around him while seeking the best for the university. In the national arena, Professor Rich's commitment to enhancing higher education in Australia is manifest in his long-standing membership of leading national committees and involvement in the evolving national agendas throughout his career. The University of Tasmania has benefited from his connection to these important national conversations. On a personal level, he has made a strong commitment to our community through his interest in and love of the arts. Professor Rich is Deputy Chair of the Tasmanian Symphony Orchestra Board and Chairman of Theatre North at the Princess. The university looks forward to him bringing his many talents and sensibilities to bear on the university's 125th anniversary celebrations, which he has agreed to oversee following his return from leave. No man is an island, and can I make special note of his wife Glenys here, who has been a very important contributor to many of David's achievements. Glenys, you're always welcome in our midst. The University of Tasmania today is a vibrant and coherent academic community, well placed on the international indices that recognise excellence in teaching and in research. The university would not be in this strong and resilient position today without the contribution made by David Rich. Indeed, the whole higher education sector in Australia has benefited from his commitment to innovation and excellence in learning and teaching across a long and distinguished academic career. It is fitting that his contribution, both to this university and to the sector in general, should be recognised by conferral of the degree of Doctor of Letters honoris causa. Deputy Chancellor, I present to you David Charles Rich for admission to the degree of Doctor of Letters honoris causa.
By the authority vested in my office, I admit you to the degree of Doctor of Letters. It is now my pleasure to invite Professor Rich to deliver the occasional address. Thank you, David.
Deputy Chancellor, Vice-Chancellor, distinguished guests, graduates, diplomates, university colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. I want to acknowledge with sincere thanks an enormous sense of pride and considerable humility the great honour you have bestowed on me today. As an Australian by choice, and more recently a Tasmanian by choice, I'm especially delighted to receive this honour from the University of Tasmania, one of the country's and increasingly one of the world's great universities. Simply, thank you. I also want to congratulate those of you who've graduated today. Well done. I hope you share some of my sense of pride. I'm sure those close to you have a justifiable pride in your achievements. I'm sure you will also feel relief that the work is over, at least for the moment, and it's time to celebrate. But it's also perhaps time to reflect on the value of your education and your qualifications, a theme to which I will return. In considering what I might say today, I reflected on what I've heard from more than 100, perhaps 150 of these graduation addresses. I'm well aware that sometimes the audience nods off or wants to. I once saw, not at this university, the speaker, an elderly retired professor of geology, begin to fall asleep as he spoke. He spoke more and more slowly, less coherently. Eventually, he ambled away from the lectern and began to sway precariously on the edge of the stage. Fortunately, the Chancellor was alert and awake and was able to guide the sleeper gently back to his seat, and to do so with great grace. And then, what was even more impressive, to respond to the address as if nothing unusual had happened. The Chancellor then was that great Australian, the former High Court judge, Justice Michael Kirby. That was possibly my most memorable graduation experience, which perhaps indicates that the content of graduation addresses often doesn't stick in the mind. The other memorable ones for me have tended to be either amusing or personal. I can't do funny, or at least not very well, so we'll go the personal route. But before I do, just one more personal anecdote about graduations. This time, my own first ceremony when I received my Bachelor of Arts. This was in Cambridge more than 40 years ago. We, all men at my college in those days, were required to wear dinner suits or morning dress as well as gowns. Rather than a ceremony like this one, where a couple of hundred graduates with family and friends present and the academic procession sit and briefly stand for an hour or more, we were on essentially what was a production line. We processed in, at least those of us properly dressed. Those without the full gear were refused entry. There was actually quite a trade between those at the beginning who'd passed the sartorial test and those at the end who had the temerity to attend with, horror of horrors, brown shoes or some other indiscretion. Once in the hall, 4 at a time, we were expected to kneel in front of an elderly gent, the Vice-Chancellor or his delegate, each grasping an outstretched finger while some Latin words were said over our heads, probably taking 20 seconds in all. We then continued processing out of the hall. That, for me, was graduation. No speeches, no handshake with the Chancellor, no time for family and friends to sit, although if they are quick enough, they might have been able to walk through the hall on the balcony to observe events. I didn't even know the meaning of those Latin words until the other day when I tracked them down on the web. They turn out to be quite similar to the certification given earlier today by the Chair of Academic Senate. I have to say that I think we do it much better here, with the possible exception that we were spared the graduation address. And I know they're sometimes, just occasionally, inspirational, sometimes funny, sometimes incomprehensible, occasionally boring, but usually too long. With that warning to self on excessive length, I'll move towards the substance of my talk. But first, just briefly, some of the personal that I promised. I was lucky enough to be born in the wonderful English city of Bath. I came from a pretty humble background. My first family home in austerity post-war Britain was a Nissen hut left over from a wartime airbase. My parents both worked in low-wage occupations. They both left school at 14. But I was really fortunate to go to good schools with generally good, sometimes exceptional teachers, although there were some exceptions in the other direction as well, and generally teachers who supported and encouraged me. I was also fortunate that my parents valued education enough to resist family pressure for me to go into some sort of trade and allow me to continue at school. Eventually, I did well enough to win a place at Cambridge. That was a culture shock of the highest order, a combination of super intellects, even more supercharged egos, the British class system at its worst, and a hugely male-dominated environment at a time when there were 10 men for every 1 woman in my university. But somehow I survived and again did well enough to stay on to do a PhD. That led to a lecturing job in England, but Britain in the 1970s was a dismal and uninspiring place. My then wife and I decided on a move to Australia, to Sydney, where I stayed for nearly 30 years. Eventually, after a brief stay in country New South Wales, I moved to Tasmania, the best move of my life. What have I learned on this life journey? I won't pose the answer as advice to today's graduates, but rather as observations about what's worked for me. And I'll highlight just 3 things. First, know and understand yourself. Get to know your strengths. Be clear about your values. Know what's important to you. Hopefully, accept yourself. Of course, this is not something innate. Life is a journey towards self-knowledge and perhaps eventually insight. but it's an important and worthwhile journey, one worth time and effort. One piece of self-awareness that came to me fairly early was that it was just as well that my parents resisted pressure for me to go into some sort of trade. I would have been a simply hopeless tradie. I'm still the despair of Glenys, my darling wife, who sometimes has recourse to a handyman to change light bulbs. A lesson that took longer to learn and is still somewhat surprising to a classic introvert like me is that people and relationships are extremely important to me, to my sense of well-being, to my values, and my personal and professional priorities. One consequence is that I put a huge amount of time and effort in my time as Provost at the University of Tasmania to trying to improve the way we partner with staff, to assist in improving professional development opportunities and the like. A second thing I've learned is the importance of having courage to change when things are not right. Of course, this can often build on the self-knowledge that I've just talked about. I have a number of examples in my life: the decision to leave Britain, the choice to move away from a classic academic career as a teacher and researcher into a somewhat less conventional academic direction, the courage to end a difficult marriage, all of them challenging at the time and not without significant risks, but ultimately all hugely worthwhile. Finally, understand the value of education and cherish the opportunities it brings. This is certainly true of my life, as my potted autobiography indicates. Education has brought me enormous advantages, and I've never regretted the time and effort that I've put into it. And I hope the same is true of today's graduates and diplomates. But my valuing of education has also coloured some of those life choices I referred to. Back in the 1990s, I made some decisions to move away from a conventional academic career to focus on developing new approaches to what's now called e-learning, all designed to improve access to education and the quality of educational experiences. These are passions that have led me ultimately to the sort of job I've ended up doing, based on a clear understanding of what's important to me, in this case education, and on some difficult and slightly unconventional choices. Before I finish, I want to extend my comments about the importance of education to the wider Tasmanian situation. Sadly, we know that this state has a very poor record of educational attainment. The evidence is everywhere, despite some welcome news just yesterday from some improvement in some NAPLAN scores. In 2006, the Adult Literacy and Life Skills Survey carried out by the Australian Bureau of Statistics found that half of adult Tasmanians lacked the literacy and numeracy skills to cope adequately with everyday life and work. The Tasmanian situation was much worse than across Australia as a whole, and in parts of Tasmania, particularly the west and northwest, it was worse again. Very recently, PISA, the Program for International Student Assessment, showed that Australian education levels are slipping compared with much of the Western world, with Tasmania again falling well behind national levels on most measures. We know also that the proportion of Tasmanians with a degree qualification is well behind national levels, though it has been rising over the last few years thanks to enormous efforts from this university. But again, the north is behind the southeast of the state, and the northwest and west significantly worse again. Only about 1/3 of the national average, 1/3. We hear a lot about Tasmania's problems. This one, educational attainment, is for me the most important and the most daunting. We know that low educational attainment is correlated with many other ills: poorer life chances, lower lifetime income, lower quality of life, poorer health, shorter lifespan. I'm pleased to say that just yesterday the University Council asked management to investigate new initiatives that will directly address the literacy and numeracy issues facing the state. These will complement the great work being done in the Northwest under the leadership of my colleague, Professor Janelle Allison, a series of programs that are being launched elsewhere in the university, and a partnership with the state government that is, in part, beginning to address this issue. But despite those efforts, I don't think we'll come close to solving the Tasmanian problem without a genuine statewide coalition, not just the university with politicians and bureaucrats, but educators from all sectors, community groups, service groups, and others. A total statewide coalition. As I say, improving educational attainment and outcomes is the most important challenge facing Tasmania, just as a concern for education is the issue that has ultimately guided my own career in the directions it has taken. To conclude, graduates and diplomates, again, warmest congratulations. You're doing your bit to address the issue of educational attainment through your own hard work. Now, it's almost time to celebrate. Friends, colleagues, and most of all, my darling Glenys, thank you for all your wonderful support and encouragement as I've tried to do my job at the University of Tasmania. Finally, Deputy Chancellor, Vice-Chancellor, thank you again for the enormous honour you have bestowed on me. Thank you.
I'd just like to add, and there's been a lot of comment made about Professor Rich in terms of his contribution to the university, and I've been lucky enough to be on the council for I think almost 5 years, and in that time the council and advocacy times that Professor Rich has provided in his, and I'm sure his address reflected the fact that he's in fact a very, in my view anyway, a humble and shy man, and he's made an enormous contribution to this place, or to the university. So for that, we should all be very thankful, I think. So congratulations again, David. That just about concludes the ceremony. Graduates, as you leave the ceremony, remember you are not leaving the university. As alumni of the university, you are connected to the university. We look forward to welcoming you back as members of our alumni through continuing formal studies and to the many symposia, lectures, concerts and events hosted here at the university and across the globe each year. In its lifetime, the University of Tasmania has been the alma mater to over 90,000 graduates. Today, you join an alumni family, a network spread around the world that can be extremely useful to you as you advance your careers. Our Alumni Association is a great resource for you as you embark on your career, with connections across the disciplines and with chapters across Australia and in many other countries. I urge you to take advantage of and contribute to the extraordinary community of UTAS graduates who retain a close association with their alma mater. I now want to encourage the graduates to acknowledge the contribution of the friends and family who've helped you and the staff, teachers who've helped you along your path to graduation. And I think perhaps if you would all stand and show your appreciation to all those family and friends who are here with you today, or those who aren't. Thank you. That now completes the formal part of this graduation ceremony. I once again congratulate those of you who have graduated. The Vice-Chancellor is a very generous man, and I now inviting you and your family and guests to join us for refreshments at the Grand Chancellor Hotel in Cameron Street. I ask you now to stand while the procession retires and invite you to follow us.